Facebook Live. I'm Josh, and this is Evie. And we have Christian Proctor from North Cross School going to be joining us in a little bit. And Christian is the head of school at North Cross, and North Cross won our family favorite for Best Elementary, Best Middle, and Best High School this year in our Family Favorite Awards. So he'll be joining us a little bit to talk about their campus, what they're doing on campus, how they're really getting ready for next year, and how they're finishing this school year. So they're going to be talking a little bit about that. Live. I'm Josh, and this is Evie. Insight on what makes North Cross a family favorite. Before we begin, let's talk about a couple things. First thing, if you have a graduating senior this year, you can go to our website, roanoke.family, and submit your information and a picture. And what are we going to do with that, Evie?
We are going to post it in our June issue.
Very good. We're going to put it in our June issue free of charge. We have listings from all the schools around the region, and your picture of your senior, your graduating senior, will be placed alongside all the listings as well. So please send us that information. Head over to our website at roanoke.family, and you can do it right there. You can also look at our digital edition of Roanoke Valley Family and our digital edition of Roanoke Valley Kids, both available right on our front page of our website. So check that out. You'll definitely have a lot of activities, a lot of stories to read, and while you're on the webpage, give us the information of the seniors. So we are all set to talk to Christian Proctor here from North Cross, so we're going to bring him in on the call. Learn a little bit more about what North Cross is doing during this crazy time, and how they're looking for next year, getting ready for the fall semester. So let's welcome in Christian Proctor from North Cross School. How you doing, Christian?
Doing well. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. I hope you and the entire North Cross staff is doing well and safe and healthy in this crazy time.
I think everybody's just waiting for a little warm weather.
Well, we had it for a day or two, so hopefully we'll get it back for more. It seems to be kind of escaping us
Yes.
here and there. You know, when you wake up on Sunday and it's in freezing temperatures, and then I look toward the forecast, and Friday and Saturday we have 80-degree weather coming.
I'm ready for that, though.
Yeah, I think we all are. So we've all the schools around the region obviously are all kind of in the same boat in terms of having to cancel obviously and not have their normal school year. But you guys have done this distance learning. You've taken it kind of full steam and run with it. So how were you guys able to run with this distance learning program that you guys kind of developed on the fly? I mean, what makes that so successful for you?
Well, the first thing is we've tried to stay away from the concept of canceling school, and we really try to refer to it as just transitioning from on-campus learning to off-campus learning. And so we started with the premise that we wanted to get through the rest of this school year, allowing our students to progress as far as possible.
Okay.
And with that, we were just perhaps maybe a little bit lucky in that we had our spring break early in the year. And with that, for the first week in March, really when this started to hit. And so it became apparent to us while we were on break that, man, this was going to be coming, and it was coming soon. And so we actually started the second week in March with a series of professional development opportunities right before the governor actually declared the schools were closed for that 2-week period.
Okay.
So maybe some of that early warning was because we had the campus in Shanghai. So we'd been dealing with this on our Shanghai campus for about 6 or 8 weeks before having to go to distance learning. So we maybe had a leg up on that one.
That's a great point. I mean, for those that do not know, North Cross has a campus in Shanghai, so they actually have I guess firsthand knowledge of what ahead of time what the pandemic was doing in China.
Right. And actually, our IT guys had worked with our campus in Shanghai probably the end of February to get a distance learning scenario set up using Zoom meeting, the Zoom China location. And so we had been teaching classes really starting March 1st using distance learning with teachers literally all over the world for the students that were in Shanghai because our teachers couldn't get back into China at that point. So it was kind of a crazy thing there, and really just led naturally into us being able to transition really over the course of one weekend from on campus learning to off campus learning.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, many other schools, obviously, a lot of schools haven't been able to transition like that, and you guys have been kind of, I think, at the forefront in terms of doing the virtual school and making sure that everything is very structured and almost like a normal school day, as opposed to kind of sporadic or a lot of worksheets. You guys have really been engaged with the students, which is phenomenal. So you mentioned Zoom calls and everything else like that, and obviously there's a bunch of other things I'm sure that the teachers had to learn while making this a reality, a new normal, so to speak. So, what kind of technologies was your staff kind of, is your staff or was your staff learning at the time and kind of and to transition into this? What do they need to do? What do they need to do to get ready?
Well, the actual platforms were fairly easy to pick up on. For instance, our middle school, they were much more comfortable with Google Classroom.
Okay.
Our upper school went straight with the Zoom meeting thing. We realized that our lower school kids were not going to be able to sit in front of a computer all day. At least our youngest kids in our early childhood program, grades 1, 2. And so we tried to create a separate technique for accessing those kids using a lot of Loom videos. But it was interesting to see the conversation amongst the faculty really breaking down into what we call synchronous and asynchronous learning.
Okay.
Synchronous being learning that takes place with the teacher at the same time. Asynchronous being where the teacher provides a lesson and the students work on their own and then come back in at a later date. And so that conversation really led to the sort of the blended the schedule we have right now, where about 3/5 of the week is done synchronously, with the teacher using Zoom meeting and the students acting just a traditional classroom at their normal time during the day. And
Okay.
about 2/5 of our learning is really asynchronous learning with projects and sets, with the teacher standing by on able to have office hours. So if kids have questions, they can access the teacher, but they really do the work on their own. So it's really kind of grown over the 9, 10. I guess we had 9 weeks now that we've been going. The teachers have gotten very good at blending those two techniques.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously a new world for them. I mean
Yeah.
nobody's ever had to do anything like this. Hopefully we don't have to again. But I'm assuming you guys, I mean, with all this, you've learned you got bumps in the road. You've learned from successes and mistakes, and
Yep.
I'm sure if anything ever happens like this again, where you have to go distant, I'm assuming you guys are going to be
Well,
even readier, more ready than you were before.
I don't, most definitely, and I hesitate to say it. Before I moved to Roanoke 10 years ago, I'd never called a snow day because I'd always worked in the South where we had hurricane days, but
Yep.
never had any snow days. And this may actually be the end of snow days now because we can always just flip right into distance learning on those snow days, and the kids can go straight from home. But uh,
I think.
don't tell the kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I hope no kids are watching.
Well,
At least not from North Cross. But my daughter is sitting next to me, and she heard you say that, and she's like, "Oh no, hold on a second. That's
yeah.
not."
The little known secret on snow days is that the faculty enjoy snow days too, though. So
Yes,
I think we'll still have them.
little bit of a break, and
Yeah,
not one day at a time as opposed to 8 weeks at a time. Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what are you thinking about? I know in some states they're talking about questioning if the fall's classes are going to be able to start on time and everything, and start. Some schools are, I mean, some states are opening back up and everything. And
Mhm.
what do you think about the fall? I mean, are you guys preparing? How are you preparing with, I guess,
Yeah.
with the unknown of what's going on? And what are you thinking about the safety aspect about the kids coming back? I mean, when is it safe for everyone for the staff and the kids to come back?
Well, those are several of the many $1 million questions that we've got going forward. We were fortunate, as you said, to get out in front of this and
Hmm.
made a smooth transition. And so our goal is to always try to remain ahead of whatever might be thrown at us. Um, there is a good shot, I think, that we can start. We don't start till September 8th this year, and there's a good shot that we can start in school in a regular setup. But the likelihood of getting through the whole year without a second wave or a third
Mm,
wave coming through is probably not great. So we have to be able to start and then transition when needed.
sure.
And then we also have to plan for the also very real case that we start in a distance learning and transition in later on in the year. So we've come up with scenarios for both of those. Always recognizing that even if we start on campus, we may be subject to social distancing
Sure.
requirements within the classroom. So, we may have to split our students into A and B, where, one half the school comes to school on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, and the other half comes to school Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And in the off days, they're basically attending class by a camera in the back of the classroom, uh,
Wow. Okay.
to keep the number of kids down in the classroom to allow us to socially distance. We've got board members that are on the staff at Carillion, as well as our nursing staff, are looking at what are the things we can do to determine when it's safe for kids to come back.
Sure.
You've got to create a whole protocol for what happens in the hopefully unlikely event that somebody turns up positive in your community. How do you respond to that? These are all things that we're sort of game planning through. Um, the plan is planned for all your scenarios, but realize that whatever happens isn't going to be exactly like any of your scenarios. But if you plan for enough scenarios, you'll be able to bend one of those into the reality that actually hits us. I feel very confident that we'll be able to, because we're fairly nimble, to
Hmm.
be able to react to anything that's thrown at us in the fall. Again, our goal is to provide a teacher-centered education that's going to be able to allow the kids to progress academically, regardless of what scenario we're in. And as I said, I feel good about what we've done this spring, so I'm confident in the fall. I just really would like to have a normal school year, though.
That'd be nice.
I really do. It would be special. It would be special.
Yeah, well, and especially, I mean, next year you guys, or I should say next year, I guess the next school year, you guys have a major transformation which has been going on for several months already, but you're gonna kind of be welcoming it into campus and to new campus life. You guys are putting a ton of money into a new, basically, I mean, almost half a new campus. I mean,
Yep.
it's pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. I mean, how's it going, and I guess what's going to be different with the campus,
Yeah. Yeah.
pandemic aside, for next in the fall.
Well, this is probably the one place where the distance learning this spring has helped us, which is it's removed the faculty, staff, and students off this, which has allowed the construction work to occur without having to work around our current students. So we're actually slightly ahead of pace right now. Um, it's an exciting transformation. It's a $16 million business building project that has really reimagined the center part of the campus. All
Yeah.
new library, student center, completely new upper school, all new theater, a crosswalk section for our program for high ability dyslexic students, new administrative offices. The campus, even though I come here every day, there are times when I look at it, people aren't going to know where they're going when they get on our campus. The change is that great.
Wow.
Uh, so it's going to be really fun to see the kids when they come back on campus next September and just see a completely reimagined campus. Um, it's special. It's probably the biggest change. Well, not probably. It's the biggest change that's been made on this campus since they built it in 1961.
Wow. That's and you've been there. You said for 10 years. You moved to
Yeah.
Roanoke 10 years ago. So how long has this been in the process? This transformation that you guys have been working on.
Since day one when I drove on the campus. uh, we we had a really ugly building on campus. It was called Old Slack Hall, and what happened was in 2000 when we did some renovations on campus, we built a Slack Hall, and that showed that we were supposed to tear the old Slack down at that time, and we never did. So that was 20 years ago. We had an old Slack and a new Slack. Now finally we've gotten rid of Old Slack Hall to just have a Slack Hall on our campus, named after one of our major founders, Tom Slack. But yeah, really, so obviously they were planning on tearing that building down 20 years ago. We finally got it.
Wow.
So But really, truly, it came about 2.5 years ago. We did some campus master planning, and we had four folks really step up and make the powerful lead gifts to make the project happen. You don't just raise $16 million without having some people really say this is something that it's a critical part of what their families want to do, and that just jump started us, and we've been going gangbuster ever since.
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen it. I haven't seen it in a couple of months, but it looked like it was escalating quickly, and I'm sure with like you said, with no people, no pedestrian traffic around, I'm sure they've been able to move on it, and it's going to transform everything on campus for you guys. The way the traffic flows, the way the students flow, the way they learn. It's going to be a great addition to the school, I'm sure, and. You guys have won our family favorite. We're voted on by our readers for 2 years now for all three categories of elementary, middle, and high school.
Well, thank you
So
for that.
I'm sure it's only going to make it better.
No, I think so. And one of the things that we have done for the last 10 years is we've really tried to focus on providing an independent school for the Roanoke community that is consistent with the independent schools in other cities that are larger or perhaps wealthier, Richmond, Northern Virginia,
Hmm.
Tidewater region, Charlottesville.
Sure.
And I think that this new facility provides us gives us a serious sense of purpose. When people come on our campus, they know we're serious about education. We're serious about the progress of our kids. And every year we have a great senior class that goes out, and I think now they'll be that much prouder about the campus that they're graduating from.
Absolutely. It'll be top of the line campus to go along with the top of the line education that they received,
Right.
and it'll give them a lot. I'm sure plenty more resources and
Yeah,
teachers as well. So that's
definitely.
excellent. That's phenomenal. So I guess any last words on what makes North Cross so special for our community and what you guys strive to do every day.
Well, I mean, the main thing is we actually, because we're an independent school, we have an agility that other schools are not blessed with. And at times when you don't know what's coming at you, when you have that pandemic, we have that ability to shift gears in a way that larger schools or school systems don't have. It's just an inherent advantage to our business model. I know the public schools have done everything they possibly can do to help out their families. It's just a much more difficult task for them than it
Sure.
is for us. So I do feel like we've taken advantage of our agility. I think we've been ahead of the game. My goal from now on is to stay ahead of whatever comes at us, and we'll cross our fingers and keep our eyes open. And with God's grace, I think we can get there.
Yeah, well, hopefully we don't run into anything like this again. But it doesn't seem likely that we're going to have a smooth next couple of years. At least it seems like things are going to be a little bumpy. So,
Just all work for a vaccine.
absolutely. So, well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Congratulations on being voted again by our readers as a family favorite for private elementary, middle, and high school. We hope to see you, I guess, in the fall on better terms
I agree.
and in a healthier world.
All right. Well, looking forward to football season.
Take care. Thank you
All
for
right. Thank
joining
you.
us.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Proctor from North Cross, and hopefully none of the kids listening heard that comment about snow days.
Maybe did.
We don't know if that's going to happen or not. It might make it more likely, but we don't know if it's going to happen. Anyway, let's talk real quick about Yankee number 57 before we head off because, why not? There's
You got 100 emails this morning asking who you're gonna pick.
Yeah, I got a lot. There really weren't a lot of number 57s in out there. Just really not really many. There's a couple of them, and most of them only pitched or played for 1 year.
I've heard of Bobby Ramos before. Is he anybody?
Yeah, he was 1982, so I don't know how you heard about him.
Maybe I haven't. He just sounds familiar. It's
I mean,
Ramos. Is that a common last name?
well, yeah.
Okay, then that's probably why.
There's
First name doesn't really
there's
count.
really not a lot. I mean, I'm gonna go with I guess I'm gonna go with current Yankee Chad Green because he's had some really great years as a reliever. Everybody else on this list really isn't that good. So for those of you wondering, I'm gonna go with Chad Green because he's better than Steve Howe, and Steve Howe is the next longest tenured Yankee, and honestly, he really wasn't that good. So Chad Green, there you go. So we'll be back tomorrow night, same time, 6:15, and we hope to see you right here. We do have a guest tomorrow.
Who's our guest?
Well,
I can find out,
I'm just gonna find it.
and I'll rewrite the schedule too.
okay. Well, I can probably find out too.
No.
It's gonna be.
Why is this taking so long?
It's Caitlin Kierdowski from the Berglund Center will be joining us tomorrow.
No, it's Evie Egan.
Caitlin Kierdowski
Yeah,
from the
you can
Berglund
interview
Center.
me.
It's
You can
Evie Egan
interview
from
me.
the I don't want to go to school factor.
Well, we can maybe we'll interview you afterwards. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. So join us tomorrow night, 6:15. We'll have Caitlin from the Berglund Center joining us. Thanks so much again to Christian Proctor, head of school from North Cross, for joining us and telling us about what's going on campus and how they were able to be ready for the pandemic in such a quick fashion with their distance learning program.
Yeah.
Kids, again, ignore the snow day comment. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you guys.